Fight or Flight is a new Josh Hartnett action vehicle that I probably didn't even hear of until a couple weeks before this movie came out. I think I was seeing The Accountant 2, maybe, when I saw the trailer for this. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, this seems kind of fun. I didn't really put too much thought into this, but because Josh Hartnett is the only person in it who's, like, relatively famous, I thought, okay, it's probably going to be a very small movie, and it is. The movie stars Josh Hartnett as a mercenary who takes on the job of tracking down a target on a plane, but must protect her when they're surrounded by people trying to kill them both. Now, I think the huge comparison here is Bullet Train. This movie is like a way less fun Bullet Train. And I didn't even love Bullet Train, I'll get into that soon, but overall, this is just a movie that is an interesting concept, but executed, it's pretty boring. I didn't think this was a movie that was fun at all. I think the best thing I could say about this movie is it's like a puppet show where you can see the strings. It's so similar to Bullet Train, which again, I was honestly never really a fan of, but at least Bullet Train disguised its convoluted plot under layers of bold visuals, strong action, consistent comedy, and the charm of a big budget A-list cast. This movie clearly has a much lower budget, and to be fair, the director, James Madigan, in his feature film debut, he does a pretty good job at creating some visually compelling action scenes. But unfortunately, the script to this movie, God, it just glaringly shows how important a script is. Because this has so many pacing issues, where it never flows with the entertaining fun and seamless giddiness that an action film or John Wick ripoff ultra-violent action flick needs to have. There have been lots of recent John Wick impersonator movies that lean into this ridiculously gonzo bloody bullet style, like Sisu, where a gold prospector in World War II is like attacked by Nazis and he has to take them down, or The Beekeeper with Jason Statham, where he's taking down bad guys. And most recently, A Working Man, where it's also Jason Statham taking down human traffickers. And while A Working Man had a pretty convoluted plot as well, all those movies and that one were pretty fun, even for basic action movies. Flight or Fight, or however you say it, Fight or Flight, has so much exposition going on in it, it really takes you out of the action. That's one of the issues to me. There's just so much talking in this movie and explaining things that it takes such a long time to break up the cool action scenes. If you think something's cool, it'll take you like then 20 minutes where they spend time talking about something else or trying to solve some mystery. Then they go back into the action and it's like you've kind of lost all that momentum. I do think the movie utilizes its geography pretty well for a movie set mostly on a plane. Each section and location on the plane feel like their own sequences. However, it just could be better the entire time. I was watching this and I got this like weird Sixth Sense feeling that there's a much better version of the movie out there somewhere. A lot of the characters are pretty flat and cartoonish too. Josh Hartnett is really great in the lead, and he's doing exactly what Brad Pitt did in Bullet Train. He's this quirky, weird, cool FBI agent or, important guy, hitman, mercenary, whatever, who's hiding out in Bangkok, drinking himself to death. He always has some funny line. He's wearing this bright Hawaiian shirt. And honestly, he's great. Josh Hartnett's a lot of fun. And a lot of the supporting cast is really great, but it just sucks that they do not have any story or personality outside of the main film arc. This is one of those movies where every single thing that happens feels like it's just meant to support this one cool idea, which is, let's put a bunch of killers and hitmen on a plane, and then you have chainsaws, you have people dressed as ninjas, you have SMGs and all sorts of cool action. But the issue is, and it's really glaring, all the characters who make up the plot are so empty and hollow underneath the story. If this story was gone, there would be nothing to care about them with. And this includes one of the key characters, the Ghost, who is this hacker who's built this algorithm that Josh Hartnett's character is trying to find, and he's trying to bring this character, the Ghost, in exchange for his job back to testify when the plane lands in New York or whatever. But the emotional stakes and the components as to both of their motivations, as well as the way Josh Hartnett's employers, these two corrupt FBI agents, are weaved into the story, it's just so forced and messy and artificial. It really, really does not feel like real life. And again, most movies don't. And it's really good if they do or they're relatable. But I think the best types of movies like this, like I didn't love A Working Man. I thought that movie was ridiculous and it came out a month ago. But at least with A Working Man, it was so funny and goofy and you could kind of like get behind some of the characters. This is just incredibly artificial, almost forgettably direct-to-DVD Tubi levels. I know I'm very critical of movies, but this and Bullet Train both have proved one thing: you need a really, really great story and really great characters to make your movie work. Bullet Train had excellent visuals, excellent characters, a great cast, but the story was just not great. That movie had all the visuals do the heavy lifting, and David Leitch's directing. This movie has an inherently interesting story idea and pretty good actors, but the visuals and the writing and the execution of this idea just feel so flat and lifeless, and as a result, the action that spawns from it is so detached, and it's almost an outer body experience where Josh Hartnett is high on toad venom at the end, and he's slicing up assassins with a chainsaw mid-flight. Like, this is what you were sold on watching the trailers to buy a ticket to this movie. That's what I was thinking of when I walked into this movie. It's about Josh Hartnett taking down assassins on a plane. But there's just so much baggage, no pun intended, exposition, forgettable characters, and a dull scene transition in almost every action scene that just nullify all of that. Like I said, I wanted to see this movie because I saw a fun-seeming action movie, but then you actually watch it, and so much of it is not that. It's just drawl and just very boring compared to a lot of other movies out there. So let me know what you guys think of this movie. I do think the director of this is a pretty solid director. I really liked how he handled a lot of the action sequences, but I do think this movie needed a rewrite. It's one of those movies where it's very clear that if you don't have a great script, you're not going to have a great final product.